Summer rolls on, and with it, we continue our block of open discussion episodes. Find out what's in our minds and see what we get up to. Maybe I'll even rant again! How about that? So come on in and let's get to the second free play episode of Season 5, next on Downloadable Content. Welcome to Downloadable Content. I'm Brian, and with me we have Nick.
Hey, Brian. Thanks for having me.
And only Nick. Just him and I to serenade you with this episode. Ron is currently experiencing that thing called life, and so he's not here. So it's going to be a nice short one, but no less interesting for that. We've got some things that we want to bat about here and see if you guys out there in the wide world of the internet have anything feedback-wise related to what we are going to say. Before we dive into our second free play episode of the year, just want to remind you all that downloadable content can be found on iTunes, YouTube, and Stitcher, and you can get a hold of us on Facebook at facebook.com/dlcontent, at Twitter at dlcontent, on Tumblr, dlcpodcast.tumblr.com, and you can also email us dlcontent1@gmail.com. So there you have it, all the different ways to get downloadable content into your ears. Just don't blame me if you make a mess. So let's dive right in. I know, Nick, you opened the first free play episode, so I will go first this time.
Step up to the plate. What you got for me?
All right. So this news came out today, which I thought was fortuitous. It was interesting because it was a bit of a learning experience. I did not know that China had a ban on the sale of video game consoles, and that the ban went into place about 15 years ago because the Chinese government was worried about the corrupting influence of video games on kids. That's their official reason for it. And so then I saw on both Yahoo News and on Polygon that China has decided to lift the ban after 15 years, so now finally Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo will get set to invade the country with all of their consoles.
Yeah, I saw this yesterday, just before we did the Iwata episode, and it's I didn't realize, I knew China was very stringent on their, what can be played for games-wise, but I didn't realize it went so far as to, completely ban consoles. Did that include the handhelds as well, do you know, or?
As far as I can tell, just from reading some of the related articles, the only gaming they really had outside of Hong Kong was PC.
Which would explain why you see them on League of Legends and World of Warcraft and games, those kind of games all the time.
You had mentioned yesterday how you repeatedly get hosed by Asian players whenever you play.
Yeah, well, I guess China's off that list. I kind of thought about it for a minute. I'm like, no, I don't think I face those kind of people. I think it's just Koreans and Japanese.
You will now!
Oh, God.
You will now, and that country has 1 billion people in it, so...
Oh, 1 billion, probably... Well, they'll have to, face the learning curve with all the controllers and whatnot, just like everyone else will, but...
Well, I mean, now that the console ban, now 15 years, so that's the year 2000. Think about what consoles were around.
Well, the 2000s, we were what? We were just waking into the... I don't think the GameCube was out. It might have just been out in Japan, the GameCube. PS2 was probably out.
Let's see, I'm thinking let's see, 5th generation, we're talking the N64.
Yeah, okay, it's probably end of that life cycle.
Yep, right around the end there. PlayStation 1.
The 2 wasn't out yet?
No, not yet.
Wow. God, those years all kind of bleed together, don't they?
Yeah, we're talking 5th generation, so year 2000. So they've got all of this video game history to catch up in. They have basically the entire, let's see. Well, PS2 did actually come out in 2000. It came out in March 2000 in Japan. So
yeah, the United States it may have been a little bit later, afterwards, but
about 6 months later.
Oh, okay.
GameCube came out in 2001, so China never saw the GameCube.
Right. I remember the whole thing about the GameCube, because that didn't come out till like October 2001, if I recall correctly.
You're off by a month.
Yeah, because when I was 16 and my birthday gift was a game system, I had my choice of either getting a PS2 right then and there, or wait for a GameCube. And I stupidly chose the PS2, because then that died within a year, and my GameCube still ticks, so...
Yep, the GameCube actually came out the one day before my 16th birthday. So let's see. China has that generation to now. So think of all of the great games, franchises from...
So they missed the entire Metroid Prime series. They missed most of the Metal Gear series. They missed Resident Evil 4. They missed the Kid... No, not that. They missed a few generations of Smash Bros.
Silent Hill, let's see, Animal
the
Crossing.
Entire Jak and Daxter series.
A bunch of Pokemon games.
Yeah, because the handhelds as well. They weren't even able to get those.
I don't think so. I don't know specifically about handhelds, but definitely the major consoles. So the fact that China has basically since now they're allowing consoles again, they have basically the entire PS2 and GameCube library to start with.
Then they got the whole Wii library to go with. You got the Galaxy series. You got the... God, they missed the entire... pretty much every Assassin's Creed up to this point. Although you can get it for PC, so I guess that's not a huge issue.
They also have missed the entire Xbox line, period.
Yeah, because the original Xbox, I want to say that was 2002, 2003. I think you and I were just starting in college when the Xbox was really starting to take off.
Yeah, I mean, the Xbox came out in November 2000. The Xbox came out 4 days before the GameCube did. And...
Oh, really? That soon?
Yep. No, Xbox North American release November 15th, 2001.
So the GameCube was the 19th.
18th. 3 days. My mistake. So, yeah, 3 days. So they were 3 days apart. So, yeah. So China is, by and large, getting exposed to Master Chief for the first time.
For the most part, again, you gotta remember that the first 2 Halos were available for PC, so they might have gotten a taste.
That is,
they might have gotten a taste of it, but not...
They might be very true, but
I mean,
Even
I'm just kind of peering over to my stack of games of just what they have missed.
Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts, yeah. Holy shit, they missed all of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, all of Final Fantasy from 10 onwards.
And it didn't miss much.
A man after my own heart. But it's the fact that this is big. This is huge for video games, especially video game publishers. Now that they've opened the gates to home consoles again. Think of all of the money to be made. This is, you're talking about a country that is more population, higher population than Japan, the United States, and the United Kingdom combined as a potential audience.
Yeah, thought that's really gotten my head kind of turning here because they've missed 2 generations and well into the third generation. Do you think game companies, in order to tap into this Chinese market, will release more compilation games of old great hits to try and get these people to buy the new systems and to play the games without having to, have it to go rummage around for 3 different systems?
Yeah, I think that's actually, it sounds like an incredibly plausible idea, because, it's been 15 years. I don't think Sony is going to fire up the PS2 production line again, or the Nintendo is going to fire up the GameCube or the original Wii, and likewise the Xbox for Microsoft.
They both, all 3 gaming companies do offer some limited backlog of old games that you can download. The PSN, Xbox Live Arcade, the eShop for Nintendo, and then you can get some titles, but I wonder if they'd be more willing to rapidly expand their line to try and get as much downloaded content as possible, even if they, like they do for us in the Americas, have like Super Mario Galaxy 2 downloaded for $20. If you never played that game and you want it on your Wii U, hey, there you go, there's an option.
That's probably very likely. Obviously, again, as I just said, they're not going to fire up the production lines for these, 15 years of consoles that have come and gone. But that is a very likely possibility that they will make games, as you said, compilation games or, affordable downloads.
Right, because, especially for some gamers, especially for people like myself who may have missed some of these games as well, just because I got into other games or I did not choose a particular system. Having some collections, like I know for the PS3 they did the what was the name of the game? Eco and Shadows of the Colossus.
Yep.
A combo pack for that, and to redo that again, maybe for the PS4, considering The Last Guardian is on its way, that would definitely be a worthy add-on.
And, as you said, a good chunk of these games are also available on PC, so, the Chinese gamers have not probably been entirely left in the dark, probably far from it.
Right, but I'm thinking now more in the realm of what really never made its way to the PC market, and I'm sure Lord Gaben Newell will be able to kind of shed some light on that of what's not on Steam, what's not what the pathetic excuse that is EA Origins offers or Uplay.
Ooh.
Yeah, shots fired. I can't. Ever since EA managed to bungle Battlefront, it's just like all faith is lost.
I think I lost faith with EA long before then. But yeah, all of these great games that they're now going to see for the first time, you're talking about a country that now is going to be, exposed to online multiplayer. So, I mean, I don't know if games like keep in mind, even though the ban has been lifted, China still has very strict censorship policies. So,
you think they'll follow Australia's example in terms of the censorship policies? Because I know Australia is extremely strict on that kind of stuff. You look no further than the Grand Theft Auto series.
I think China might even be more so than that. So I mean, I don't know if China is going to see games like the later Grand Theft Auto games, like Call of Duty. I mean, I honestly don't know. If there's anybody out there listening to this episode, please let drop us a line. But some of the other maybe less quote offensive games like, well, let's see, all the ones that I can think of are already on PC to begin with.
And the ones that, I mean, let's stick to a safe category here. Let's stick to the Nintendo franchise.
Okay, all right. So, Super Smash Brothers, Mario Kart. Talk about an influx of potentially millions more gamers to Nintendo's online service. And remember, Nintendo is still taking baby steps onto what the internet actually is. So,
right.
Think about all of those players now coming in, and I think it might be the case for all three of the main companies. They might have to make some new servers or somehow increase server capacity to allow these millions of potential gamers to play.
Yeah, I think this will have to. Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting how they're gonna take this on, is from a gaming standpoint, from like you said, the censorship standpoint.
But I think you have something there. I don't think, if Nintendo is going to actively and aggressively pursue the Chinese market, and I don't see why the big three would not. I mean, again, China's lifted the ban, and now it's practically inviting them as open season.
Well, I'm looking at something here on Engadget that China's GDP per capita is only $8,100 American. Not much. So, another thing you need to figure out is, how are they going to price this? How are they going to price the game consoles? Because it sounds like they may not be able to afford that much.
That's true. I mean, having no idea what China's economy is, so...
Yeah. There's a lot of questions, but definitely it will definitely be something worth watching.
It's kind of like opening a time capsule. It's like, because the rest of the planet has obviously gone beyond the PlayStation to Xbox GameCube era. We are generations beyond that now. We're in the 8th generation of consoles. So while everyone is playing, PS4, Xbox One, Wii U, 3DS, for them, the consoles, they're still with, PS2 and GameCube, and, so it's like opening a time capsule, and it's like, this is what the rest of the world has been playing for the last 15 years. So, it's going to be interesting to see. But for all of you who have played competitive online multiplayer games, and, have lamented that, you keep getting hosed by, Asian gamers, and remember, Korea, StarCraft, it's their national sport, so...
Actually, that's a good segue here. Are we ready to move on from this topic?
Yeah, go ahead. We've spent about, almost 20 minutes on this, so...
Well, let's actually talk about official sporting here. This actually came out of the top pipelines this past Friday, where it has now been announced that the Electronic Sports League, the ESL, which is part of the big, Major League Gaming, whatnot, is now going to have professional video game players in tournaments to have drug tests.
Yes, I read that. And this is why this piece of news alone is why I wish Ron was able to make this episode, because Ron is he is always talking about esports. He pays much more attention to it than I do, and he watches the events on Twitch. And
yeah, they recently had the Evo fighting tournament. Unfortunately, I had to miss it that weekend, but I do know that was going on.
I knew that was going on, and I was also busy when that was going on, but I saw one piece of news that came out of it, that Jamie Lee Curtis, the actress, went to the convention and cosplayed as Vega from Street Fighter. Yeah. And the thing is, no one knew it was her because, if you remember what Vega looks like. But yeah, she went to that event as Vega, and I just was blown away. I was amazed.
Hang on. I now have to look at this because I did not know that about this. Let me have a look here. Jamie Lee Curtis attends Evo 2015 disguised as Vega.
Yeah.
Here we go. Very well done. No one would have been wiser.
Yeah.
Man, that's something else. But But kind of getting back on topic here is basically some of these top gamers are admitting to taking the drug known as Adderall. Which is a
college student's favorite drug.
I'm sure everyone's got a story with Adderall, and I'm no different. I did it once, and it was 6 a.m, and my first college roommate is as about as loopy as I am watching Booba, and I'm like, what are we doing?
Oh, Dave.
Yeah, that was a night, but Adderall, for anyone who's not very medically inclined, is a drug to treat ADD, or more specifically ADHD, which is attention deficit hyper disorder, and it's to pretty much it's a stimulant, and it helps you focus.
Yeah, it helps you focus. It helps you pay attention.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the right words to say here, but for gamers, they use it to reduce their reaction times, basically be a little more twitchy, and it's I'm not sure, without any kind of actual, testing and studies, actual science being done on it, if that actually does improve their ability to game. I'm sure there's got to be some basis in it, but it'll be interesting to see how, number one, how will they test for this? And then number two, what it makes it on that list. I mean, yes, Adderall is one. I'm sure there's 20 other drugs that can do the exact same thing.
Yeah, I assume that they might go about this the same way most other professional sports leagues go about it. I guess I'm not sure, how, because, for marijuana, they test hair samples. For some of the, steroids that they check for
for American football, I know it's like blood tests, or sometimes they'll do urine tests, or So my question is, how will they go about testing for the drug, and what exactly are they looking for?
Probably through some various combinations of what you just said. I mean, I don't know, I don't know how they test for something like that, but again, probably through a combination of again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I am not a doctor. I barely passed basic biology in high school. It's, the human system is a very strange and foreign concept to me.
All right, well, that's because Nick isn't actually human, ladies and gentlemen. He's actually an alien from the
alien. Again, Giorgio is just hopping up and down.
Yeah, it's just he comes from the planet Genderfloip. We have no idea. He's here on a foreign visa, and oh yes, hi NSA. But it actually doesn't surprise me that the ESL and Major League Gaming and all that are starting to do something like this, because I mean, you don't even have to pay attention really to esports to know just how big this is getting. I mean, it's getting to the point where even ESPN has taken notice of this.
Well, I think mostly it has been because, well, the games they're playing now are the games we grew up with as kids. Think back, the early 1990s Super Nintendo era. I was no good at it, but I played Street Fighter 2. And those who weren't Street Fighter people were Mortal Kombat people. And now you see these big, huge tournaments happening now. Online gaming has become good enough where fighting games are now mostly playable online with a good enough internet connection. And, especially the fighting game scene, and there are some other games as well that have just received such a resurgence recently. And the prize pools involved now really give people an incentive to go play. I mean, you look at some of these pools, they reach $500,000.
Or higher.
Or higher. The League of Legends tournaments, there is a $1 million prize pool. There's serious money to be made doing this, not just from a tournament standpoint, but from a sponsorship standpoint. If you look at any of the PC gaming magazines, you look at any advertisements, companies like Razer, Asus, Turtle Beach. I'm sure there are others as well. Maybe not Mad Cats, but they pay these people pretty hefty amounts of money to use their products and wear their labels. I'm pretty sure Monster has got to be somewhere in there. Because you want to be more jittery than ever before. Go drink Monster.
Well, and this is, by the time this episode airs, this will already have taken place. But Dota 2, for example. International tournaments coming up, the first week of August. And, there are hundreds of thousands of dollars to be made. So, when I went to PAX last year, I noticed that the expo floor was a bit smaller because they had opened up more of the floor itself to tournaments, major tournaments that were going on at PAX.
Yeah, it's...
I'm looking
the tournament scene has just, a lot of people just want to, I think this is just part of our competitive nature of, we want to show who's the best at what, especially for something that we're so passionate about in the realm of video gaming. That I even though I stink at the game. I want to try and show that I can play a decent round of Smash Brothers. Now, granted, I can't hold a candle to some of my friends, let alone to professionals. But I think it's you go to conventions like PAX, conventions like E3. E3 had tournaments there. And it just continues to be, even if it's not for prize money, just for the prestige in itself, is a reason enough for people to get into this. And for some people, it is win no matter what it takes. And that's when people start trying to take these drugs to gain an edge. So, taking this full circle, the fact that the ESL wants to start finding testing and get it implemented to their circuits for these gamers, I think is a good thing.
Yeah, there's no argument here. I mean, are you familiar or have you heard of Dota 2?
I only know it by name, and I only know it as the major competitor to League of Legends. Now, I do not care much for real-time strategy, and I do not care much for massive multiplayer online games, especially ones where where teamwork is so crucial. I mean, I do, if I do participate in any of that kind of stuff, it's strictly as for fun, casual. That's why I, don't take it seriously like I do in Splatoon. I don't take it seriously at all. But yeah, I only know Dota 2 by name.
Oh, that's not a bad overview. I mean, right now, the reason why, drug testing, right now the prize pool for the upcoming Dota 2 championships, it's the international, it's from August 3rd through 3 through 8 in Seattle. The prize pool right now is almost $17.5 million. So the winners, and I think it's teams of 4 or 5.
I want to say they're teams of 5.
Right now, first place, the champions will split almost $6.3 million between them.
Yeah, there you go. I think you just perfectly illustrated why people will take drugs like Adderall, because you hear what I'm doing some quick math here in my head. That's 1.2 million plus per person, and that's a lot of dinero.
It is, and so and with all of the attention that's now pinned, there's going to be hundreds of thousands of people watching this online. So yeah, I think it's a good idea. It was only a matter of time.
It really was, especially now that you got, Twitch has just taken over by storm in terms of video game broadcasting. And like you said, now ESPN is starting to take notice and doing some, minor things, dabbling in it, just trying to see if, it can catch interest. I think it'll be much like the poker, where it'll catch fire first couple of years and then probably die back down once the tournament market gets oversaturated with people. But unlike poker, where it's very luck based, gaming is very skill based.
Oh yeah, so, not really much luck involved. This is, who has the twitchiest fingers.
Well, who has the best strategy? Who has the best reaction time? Who has the best teamwork? There, a lot of factors go in that, so it makes online gaming or team-based gaming so different from just playing poker.
Very true. It was only a matter of time. So It's a good idea all around. I mean, with all of the money that is at stake, you want to try to have as fair and as clean a playing field as possible. So, this I only see this as a good thing.
Yep. I think it's just the next logical step forward.
And best they catch it early as esports is getting more and more traction as opposed to doing it later and having everybody all up on drugs. I mean, just take a look at professional cycling.
Professional cycling, professional baseball, to a extent, professional American football. I don't know. Do the soccer players really, drug up on that?
I don't really know.
You don't really hear a whole lot about it. But
yeah.
This is America. I mean, soccer ranks down there with I think below golf in terms of public attention and interest.
I don't know. Right now, soccer is riding a bit of a high right now since the women won the World Cup.
Right. It seems to be like every time we have the FIFA World Cup come around for the men or for the women, every 2 years, then all of a sudden we get interest again.
Every 4 years.
Yeah, every 4 years, or 2 years. 2 years for the men, and then 2 years later the women play, and then 2 years later it's back to the men.
No.
No?
Nope. You have the men play 1 year, and then the women play the year after. And then you have to wait 3 years for the men to play again, and so on.
Oh. Yeah, you see, I think it just perfectly illustrated the point of how closely I follow soccer. Although, interesting note, I did see the FIFA UEFA World Cup draw on Fox Sports. I don't know why I turned it on to it. I think there was literally nothing else on, because that is the beauty of our cable system now, 800 channels.
And nothing! This is why I haven't had cable in years. And every time I go out of town or I go, to a place that has cable, I'll thumb through it for a few minutes and be like, I'll be like, do I really regret not having cable? In about 30 seconds, I have my answer. Nope.
So I sat and watched through this draw, and there were a couple soccer matches or football matches, depending your nationality, that really did drum up some interest. That even a guy who casually sits down and watches a match from time to time just went, "Ooh, I bet you that'll be fun to watch." Case in point, the very first match in one of the groups will be England versus Scotland.
Ooh, rivalry match.
Yeah, so I saw that, I was like, oh god. And my roommate goes, I think blood will be spilled.
It very well might. You don't know. I mean, we still are 3 years away from the World Cup, but obviously we're now getting away from video games. So I think it's a good time to draw the first half to a close.
Yank it back.
You're gonna yank it back, steering us back into the land of the gaming. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll bandy around another topic each. So you are listening to our second free play episode of Season 5 of Downloadable Content with Nick and myself. You'll get some music, and we'll step out. We'll be back. Welcome back to Downloadable Content, our free play episode. Nick and I are still here. We haven't gone off into the various wide world of games, even though we could so easily.
We chose not to, though.
Just for you. Just for you. You better be listening.
What kind of accent were you going for there?
I don't know.
I don't know. I did all my gaming earlier today, so
I dug out today because now that I've pretty much Skyrim'd out, I decided I wanted to go play some games from 20 plus years ago. So I dug out my copy of my Mega Man Anniversary Collection.
Oh yes.
And,
really good choice, sir.
Mega Man was one of those series that I completely missed as a kid. And, I only beat Mega Man 1 last year. And so I decided, well, there's a bunch of Mega Man games. I'll just pick up the Anniversary Collection and have the first 8. And go from there. Because shortly before I started playing Skyrim, I received a nice present while I was holed up from surgery. Somebody sent me a very, very good game, Shovel Knight, and
Shovel Knight is a fantastic title. I'm still waiting. Just quick off note, did they come out with the Nintendo DLC content for that yet? Do you know?
There is no DLC at this point. They are working on an expansion, but it is not out yet.
Yeah, because I know there's PS4 content with Kratos, and I know there's Xbox One content with the Battletoads, because, you wanted to chuck your controller across the room. There you go.
Of course.
But anyway, Shovel Knight.
And so I played that and loved it. And, when I met some of the guys who made Shovel Knight at last year's PAX, we were just kind of waxing nostalgia for about 20-25 minutes about old games. It was nice.
It was a very, very good game that borrowed various elements from certain games, namely Zelda 2, Castlevania, DuckTales, but
Mega Man.
And yeah, Mega Man in some rough aspect, and yeah, very, very good game.
Very, very good game. So I was,
so that got you thinking, oh, I need to get back to the Blue Bomber.
And after a couple nights ago, basically playing a bunch of retro games with a couple of friends, getting back into, we played Contra, Mega Man X, which I had never played. We played, I pulled out Marble Madness.
Yes.
We played the Super Nintendo Star Fox.
And the original Super Nintendo Star Fox was okay.
I still love it. I mean, I like Star Fox 64 better, but
my problem was I played the 64 version first before I played the Super Nintendo version.
Okay.
It was taking a step backwards for me, and it kind of made my eyes hurt.
No, I loved Star Fox as a kid, and then when Star Fox 64, I'm like, ah! Yes.
So I guess you're excited for the 64 remake that's coming out later this year?
I already own Star Fox as a ROM on my computer. I have the original cartridge, and I have Star Fox 64 on my Wii. I don't know if I want, a re-release of this.
Well, the thing is basically they're taking, this upcoming Star Fox Zero game. I saw in a article that it's basically another retelling of Star Fox, 64, because Star Fox 64 was a retelling of the Super Nintendo Star Fox.
It was a sequel.
So
in some aspects, yes. So
in some aspects, but according to the developers, it's a retelling.
Yep.
And so they're doing it yet one more time, except now they're with supposedly 40% less plot holes.
Yes. plot holes big enough to drive an R-wing through. But be that as it may. So, going back to the discussion here, we got some meaty topics in the first half. So, just to start this second half, I would like to talk about something that has been in the news quite a bit in recent weeks, even before Satoru Iwata's passing, and that is the upcoming thing. I don't know if you saw this, Nick, but Nintendo had made mention, I think last year, that they were trying to come up with some sort of home medical device, some sort of quality of life thing.
Oh, is that device that you put on your finger?
No. It's
Are we talking about the same thing here? Because
no. Let me pull it up for you. Hold on.
Yeah, I would appreciate that. No, that's my message I sent you. Never mind.
Hold on. It looks like an iPod dock, to be perfectly honest. But let me send you the link.
We'll get right to this link article as soon as this advertisement goes away.
Oh, you don't have an ad blocker.
It usually is not a problem for me, but sometimes it does. The problem is that any links that are sent to me, this computer loves to send it through Internet Explorer. Yeah, so and then I have problems galore. There we go. Quality of Life Initiative.
Now, I remember they were talking about, this sort of idea last year. And basically, from what I've read and of what I have seen of this device, it looks like that Nintendo is trying to turn sleep into something like a video game.
Hey, they want to turn sleep into a video game. I will kick ass at that.
You're gonna sleep so hard.
I will take drugs to sleep through that. You don't know. I got little remedies. I got a little vodka and NyQuil. You take that, you're out.
You drink a bottle of that and suddenly you're seeing vapor trails. It does. Yeah, I'm looking at this device. It looks like an iPod dock, and it's basically a sleep monitoring alarm clock.
Well, let's see here. A portable terminal, so you're kind of close to the iPod thing, or smartphone, or sensor information.
This device also projects something onto your ceiling. And
yes, because that's exactly what I need with my life, is this 3D projection on my ceiling of Mario with his Mario 64 place blaring out, "Hello, it's me, Mario!" Because you want to have me wake with a start and throw something across the bedroom. Okay.
I was talking to a friend of mine this morning. Jeremiah over at Bombad Radio. He sent me a message this morning about. He's like, "Have you seen this thing that Nintendo's trying to cook up with?" And I had heard, a few things about it, and he's like, this is when we learn that the new console is a clock to help you wake up by having your room filled with holographic enemies each morning. They'll start with the Dead Space Extinction and Zelda zombies.
Oh God, read that. No. This is like when I was playing Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2 today. I just started that up. And you run into these little kids with snakes coming out of their arms and necks, and they're doing like these weird backward spider walks across the ceiling with their eyes rolled in the back of their head while they're distorting reality around them. I went, nope, we're done here. Nope.
Jesus Christ, what kind of drugs have you been taking?
That's a problem with that game. I've heard it's not that good, and now I'm starting to understand why, because it's a mind fuck.
So, according to the patent documents, the device would somehow collect, quote, physiological information and or health information relating to the health or the body of the user obtained from said physiological information. A microphone, a Kinect-style camera, and a sensor of some sort would watch you while you're asleep and decide just how restful a night you were having. Details about the quality of your sleep could then be projected from the device up on the ceiling or wall. If you feel terrible waking up in the morning, then Nintendo's new gadget will tell you exactly why that is.
Oh, I could tell you why that is. Well, at least for me.
You wake up and suddenly there's a wall master on the
Oh, God. The stuff of nightmares, Brian. What do you want me to not sleep tonight? I barely slept as is.
Yes, so suddenly you wake up and well, no, it would be, comically surreal if now I just have the image of, myself waking up and there's, big Mario head on the ceiling.
I wouldn't project it on the wall. I mean, if I was stupid enough to, if my quality of sleep and then all of a sudden, Punch-Out is on the wall with Mike Tyson there, I'm going to quickly react and break my hand punching the wall.
The thing is, I mean, Nintendo is not averse to doing things, not necessarily. I mean, like I said, they've been around for 125 years. They haven't always done video games, so if Nintendo is actually deciding to get into, the whole sort of sleep tracking thing, it does have some competition. I mean, there's the Fitbit Charge. There's another device called the Jawbone UP3.
Yeah, see, you're easily more well versed into this than I am. I know why I sleep poorly. In all seriousness, it is because we're pretty sure, because my parents kind of hid it from me, is pretty much an undocumented case of Asperger's, which is kind of like a high functioning autism, which would explain my life so much. But I guess naturally that like Asperger's patients just naturally just have a hard time falling asleep and staying asleep. So, that kind of makes sense to me, because I've had that my whole life of having that problem. College certainly didn't help.
No.
But you know those tales.
I'm curious to
do I really need a device to tell me, what I already know, or something that you can't just go to a sleep center for?
What I think we all want to know about this particular doohickey, we want to know more information, because I read all this today and I'm just like, okay. I mean, because we all know that they're working on what, for all intents and purposes, is probably their next console, the code-named NX.
You think this will have something to do with it, you think?
I honestly don't know. I can't imagine why it would, to be perfectly honest. I mean, the last thing I want Nintendo to do is to get even more gimmicky with its consoles.
I mean, Nintendo has been no stranger to introducing health stuff in the past. When they released Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, it came out with a walker, a step counter.
Yep.
Which I find kind of funny, because it got tested against a lot of other professional products, and the Pokemon step counter did better than most of the professional products you find out there, which just made me laugh hysterically.
That's the Pokewalker?
Yeah, the Pokewalker.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
And,
My friend Doug has one of those things.
I had one for a long time before the battery finally died on it. I loved it. It was great to go around. It gave me an excuse to go walk in because I got rewards for it. I was able to get rare Pokemon. I was able to get rare items. It was a good way to kind of get an edge in the Heart Gold and Soul Silver games. It actually helped me beat Whitney relatively easily and draw the ire and jealousy of everyone else.
You go, boy. Although now that I think about it, I mean, it's true. Nintendo is not really any sort of stranger to health and fitness. I mean, there's a pedometer in the 3DS, for crying out loud. If you put it in sleep mode, it gets you play coins.
And remember when, like, the Wii and Wii U was, throughout the Wii's life cycle, and I believe part of the Wii U, that reader for your finger to determine your blood pressure or your pulse.
We're also forgetting
they wanted to do something with that as well, so it never really came to fruition. We had the Wii Fit.
Yeah, we had the Wii Fit. I was just going to say that.
Balance board, so it's not as though Nintendo is adverse to doing this kind of stuff. So, really, when you sit down and think about this, a whole sleep system thing, I know we've had some jokes and fun at its expense, but it really shouldn't be surprising that Nintendo wants to come out with something like this.
It's just as long as it's not another Virtual Boy.
You wake up, you see just black and red.
Yeah, you wake up, your entire bedroom is red. Everything is red. I'm red. April's red. The cat is red.
It's like, great Nintendo. I just want, what a way to wake up in the morning with a headache.
Yeah, it's like, did I just walk into the world of our zone? What is this? It's
I mean, maybe they'll let you customize the colors. Maybe you could turn it all blue and feel like you're in Tron.
If Nintendo put out a device that made it so that you were in the world of Tron, do you know how much bank they would make?
And your point?
I'm just saying. Even my wife, who is a non-gamer, would buy the shit out of that Nintendo device. She would be making grabby hands at it day one. So Nintendo is not really any sort of stranger to, health and fitness. I mean, the Wii Fit ended up proving so popular that the trainer is a Smash Brothers character, for fuck's sake. So,
what else did the Wii Fit balance board used in outside of Wii Fit? I know it could be used in Punch-Out Wii, although no one used it. I can't think of any other applications of... Oh, yes, Lord Wikipedia would know.
Let's consult Lord Wikipedia.
Of course. Well, I don't know why. I should have just brought up the site.
You should have, but alas, poor Yorick. You did not. Wii Balance Board. Okay, let's see.
They just call it the Wii Balance Board.
Let's see, what games... Oh, there's actually a bunch of games that support the Wii Balance Board. Let me send you that link.
I actually have it in front of me.
Okay.
Let's see. EA Sports Active. That doesn't surprise me. The Dance Revolution. Okay, interesting. I can remember, like, the Just Dance games, I'm sure, gotta be in here somewhere.
There's Punch-Out, you were saying. That worked. There it is.
Rayman Raving Rabbids, yep.
Oh, God.
My personal golf trainer. Okay, this would be the only game that would get me to actually get a balance board.
Ford!
Hey, if you saw my actual golf swing, you would be on the ground laughing.
It probably would be better than mine, because if I'm going to a actual golf course, I wouldn't bother with a golf club. I would bring an aluminum bat.
Just Jason Giambi it, just...
how far is it? It's a par 5, 400 yards? Alright. While you putz around with that little fucked up stick, I'm gonna use this bat.
Yeah, I'm one of the... I have such a slice on my golf swing that when my ball hits the ground off the tee, it does not bounce forward, it bounces left.
And April and I we played mini golf the other day, and my God, physics hated me. She won, because physics just didn't get along. I kept lipping.
Yeah, it was gonna get that.
So frustrating. I'm like, did they grease all of the holes?
No, you're just...
Felt like Wyatt. It was a...
Let's see, we have Skate It. EA and Ubisoft seem to be the two companies that did the most with the balance board.
I'm not surprised.
Mario and Sonic at the Winter Games, so Sega got into it as well.
I mean, also, this is not a surprise. I mean, do we remember Track Meet as a kid with the pad for the NES?
That is true. Although probably the funniest out of this entire list, I don't know if you're looking at it either, is the Garfield Show Threat of the Space Lasagna. How bad does that game have to be?
I think I need a bottle of 151 if I'm going to,
I can provide that.
I'm sure you could, but I'm not driving all the way to Binghamton where there's a liquor store 10 minutes away.
Who would say you would have to drive there? I would drive up.
Fair enough.
Bottle in hand.
Suddenly there's a knock at my door. Hold on, who could this be? No. So, Nintendo dabbling in another product, a health and fitness sort of related product. Not surprising. I'm just curious as to how this is going to play out, because again, if I wake up and this little device says, you slept too well, let's shake things up. Here's a Wallmaster.
How, would they just give you visually disturbing graphics? Or wait, how about like the rest of the Wii stuff where it's all force feedback? Jar you awake. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. Get up.
Get the fuck up! And suddenly you have the very angry voice of R. Lee Ermey getting you awake.
No, I have it. If you want to, if it really wants you to get up in the morning for sleeping too well, the music that it has to blare is the Sonic You're About to Drown music.
Well, I would say that would get me out of bed probably in less than half a second.
Yeah.
I think you would be right, because as I've said before on downloadable content, of all of the video games I've played a ton of survival horror games. The scariest music on this earth is the You're About to Drown from the classic Sonic games. That you bring up an excellent point there. So,
also, one more thing with the balance board.
Okay.
Tetris Party. Tetris on your balance board.
If you were a masochist, I suppose. But
I can actually kind of picture it. Lean forward to flip the block around, left or right to move it left or right, and then try and lean back to sink it. That would be an exercise.
It most certainly would. So,
and knowing my lazy self, I would just use my hands.
So we'll see what comes of this, and Nintendo's got a couple of things in development at this point. So the information regarding the patent came up online a few days ago, so now it's there. So we'll see. We shall see. So, all right, Nick, over to you.
We kind of touched base on this a little bit, and especially the article you gave me talked a little bit about the Nintendo NX, and we barely heard very few details for what could this system from Nintendo possibly be.
Oh, they're being very tight-lipped about it.
Yeah, and so what I would like to kind of toss out there is kind of a little bit of speculation between you and myself,
okay,
of what could the NX possibly be, especially now that Mr. Iwata has unfortunately left us. The entire vision of this could possibly change. So what could Nintendo possibly do with the so-called NX? Is this going to be alongside the Wii U? Is this going to replace the Wii U, or the handhelds? Is it going to be something completely, totally different? Does it have something to do with the mobile platforms? So I have my own ideas, but why don't you start with your idea, what the NX could possibly be?
I'm honestly thinking that it is the next major console. Given how underwhelming and underperforming the Wii U is, it wouldn't surprise me if Nintendo before long will basically wash their hands of the Wii U.
Okay. So, let's say that does happen. What do you think will be inside this console, the next console? Do you think Nintendo will once again go with a gimmick? Do you, what do you think Nintendo will try and do with it?
I mean, because all of this stuff is still all just rampant speculation, I would like them to make a console that is, it doesn't have any connections with, the Wii. Get rid of the Wii name, because Nintendo did not do what Sony does and number, they didn't, progressively number their Wiis. Too many people thought, well, especially if you were not really, a gamer, too many people thought the Wii U was just simply an add-on to the Wii, and I think that did not help Nintendo at all.
Right, and we've talked about that in the past of what we, especially, if I bring it up to my parents, they really thought it was just an add-on, and I had to explain, no, it's an all-new system. So I think you're right. I don't think that it did it any favors.
I mean, if it is going to be the next major console, it would kind of be very surprising from Nintendo, though, given that the Wii U has only been out for 3 years almost. Nintendo doesn't usually put such a short shelf life on its major consoles like that. I mean, I don't know how bad they think the Wii U is doing. I mean, there have been some good games for it. I mean, yes, but it's, I still, to this day, do not own a Wii U, which is surprising because, I mean, I'm a massive Nintendo fanboy. I have owned every single Nintendo console up to this point. And, I don't own a Wii U. Because there were, by and large, not enough games for me to justify the cost of the system.
I agree with you on a few of these points, that I do believe that the NX is probably going to be the successor to the Wii U. I think we are going to see the next standalone console. I also think that with the first details coming out next year, I still think it's probably 2017 before this system even sees release. What I personally would like to see Nintendo do, especially because it's starting to really drop down in price, it would be a little forward thinking. It would be a little on the risky side for Nintendo, but this is something they got the Wii U, have in their possession to maybe kind of play around with this. But I would really like to see the NX be the first system to fully support 4K gaming, Ultra HD gaming.
Here's my thought on that. I had always felt that the idea of 3D gaming was a big gimmick.
Anyone could have told you that. When Nintendo did it first with the 3DS, and it kind of worked to an extent. But then Sony tried it, and Microsoft tried it, and to my knowledge, I think they both stopped because it was a complete and utter bomb.
So the idea of 4K gaming, that, at this point in time, you're talking about a massive, massive expense. First you would need to have a TV capable of rendering in 4K.
And I say this because I started to look at some shopping for 4K capable monitors and 4K capable TVs. And they are significantly cheaper nowadays than they were when they first came out. They're getting to the point now that they're starting to be on the level of your standard televisions nowadays. They're not that much more expensive for family households if they are going to make such a large investment such as a new high quality TV. That why would they not go 4K at that point if the difference is only a couple of $100, especially when you're already spending at least $1,500. So if the price difference isn't going to be that much, and the pricing is only going to go down farther and farther down as the years go on. I think in 2 years, 4K televisions is really going to be the new standard. So why and again, I'm really stretching on this one, but Nintendo to think forward ahead to basically be like, okay, 4K televisions are now hitting the mainstream, and now here's a gaming system to go with it. It's extremely forward thinking. As something I don't really anticipate Nintendo doing, but it's my personal wish.
I mean, just taking a look on Amazon, like the cheapest 4K TVs I'm seeing, are around the $600 range.
Which is, yeah. I mean, I spent what, $1,000 on my 60-inch LED HD TV, so that it's already past that.
It's already coming down. I mean, I could see that. I mean, you're asking, and again, this is entirely speculation. All of it. We could be bullshitting out of our ass here. I mean, you're suggesting that Nintendo basically do something that Sony would do, like a sort of massive shift in the way consumers buy electronics.
Yes, I did. Especially because Nintendo, because it seems like the big thing that the gaming community seems to ask out of Nintendo each time is to make something that competes on the level of Sony and Microsoft. Now you and I both know that Nintendo kind of just throws a middle finger to that and then just continues to sail the ship at its own pace. But I'm not necessarily saying that they have to completely radicalize their way of thinking. But what I am saying is, different resolutions and different specifications are so easily done nowadays. I'm not sure how exactly Nintendo actually does it, or any game company does it. but I could have the Wii U play at 480p all the way up to 1080i, or anywhere in between. So, if I'm able to switch it all between those settings, why can we not have one more? And if for people who maybe that still don't have that, then that's okay. You can still have it at 1080p, but the whole point of this is to sell, not really sell the consoles, because most companies don't turn a profit on their consoles. Where they turn their profits is in the games, and we know Nintendo can sell games. We've seen it happen time and time again. But if Nintendo starts thinking more forward in the technology aspect, and maybe loosens the leash a little bit on third-party gaming, maybe that would entice third-party developers to start having Wii U, or not Wii U, but NX capable stuff, for Nintendo as well as Sony and Microsoft. Help Nintendo, reach out and compete for those sales.
I think for something like that, though, Nintendo has a pretty tall order, because they have decades of that whole family-friendly moniker to try to consider, because when you think Nintendo, you're not going to think Call of Duty. You're not going to think, shooters or, stuff like that. You're immediately going to think Mario, Zelda, Donkey Kong, Star Fox, all of that.
The only other thing I could really see the NX being is, Nintendo has talked about with the whole mobile gaming, and the NX would not be the next edition console. That this might actually be the whole mobile market that Nintendo's been talking about. Maybe this would be their own brand of it. I mean, who knows? The NX is such is such a wide open, field about it, because, typical of Nintendo, nothing is coming out on this.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, this is all speculation. We're not going to get anything really more about whatever the NX is until next year at the very earliest.
Right. I'm thinking E3 2016 is when we're actually going to start getting first details. But then you read stuff like IGN, and I don't trust that as, I anything IGN puts out, take with a grain of salt, is typically how I go about it. But, they go ahead and say, that the NX could be ready by by sometime in 2016, that they think that Nintendo's well underway. They already got the design and specs, and, this is ready to be rolled out. And while I personally very much doubt that, we don't know. We just...
We don't.
Right. I mean, IGN could be completely on the money on that one. But, until Nintendo kind of sheds more light on the situation, unfortunately, the only thing we could do is purely speculate. And, that's...
And speculate we are.
Yeah, and that's, something that really gets me thinking, especially with Mr. Iwata's passing. Because what Mr. Iwata may have had in mind for the NX, the next president and CEO of Nintendo may think in a completely different direction. And who's to say that 2016 rolls around and Nintendo has completely changed the direction and design of what the NX could go in, and maybe 2017 is unrealistic for the system to come out. Whatever it is.
In the meantime, I think that means that Nintendo still has work to do yet with the Wii U. I mean, I think they still have time to try to salvage something.
I think that's precisely the case, and that's why I think even if the NX is the next console, I don't think the Wii U's going away anytime soon. That I think the NX would be kind of the hardcore version of a console, while the Wii U still stands around being the economy-friendly version, where you could still get your major titles, your next Mario Galaxy, your next Legend of Zelda, what I like to call Legend of Zelda Elder Scrolls.
Oh, I wish. I do. I wish.
It's what little we've seen of the next Zelda, that really what it seems to me is it's so open world, and the map, we only got to see one section. And that little tiny dot in that one huge section of that map is Link.
No one better be poor if they still insist on putting rupees in the grass.
Yeah, I'm really would that both excites me about how the new Zelda could go. It also scares me that if they go in a direction like Skyrim, like Oblivion, these are the kind of games that I cannot get into because it's too open. There's no sense of direction where you're just plopped in the middle of the map and it's just go, run, have fun. And I just go, where do I start? Anywhere you want.
Uh-huh.
And I just go, ugh. And then I stop after a couple hours because I just wander. And the completionist in me has to do all the side quests first before I go to the main quest. Well, I'm going to be there a while.
Yeah, you are. You most certainly are. So, the long and the short of it is, we haven't a fucking clue about what the NX is going to be, and we're not going to have any sort of idea until next year at the absolute earliest.
Yep.
So, be that as it may. I know that we both have brought up one thing. I just want to close with this little quick thing because we like statistics.
Oh, yes. Data is beautiful.
We like numbers. So, I was linked to an article that came out just a few days ago on Fortune. It's the top 10 selling video games of 2015 so far.
Ooh, okay. Do you want to start at number 10 and work our way up?
Alright, number 10. Super Smash Brothers.
At number 10?
Yep.
Wow, I thought it would be higher up that list. But I think the problem behind it is because for the very problem that you and I talked about is the Wii U is just not selling.
It's not only that. It's also because Super Smash Brothers is only out on one main console and one handheld.
And that's true as well. So I think that does skew the numbers a little bit. Because obviously more platforms you have it out on, the more you're going to sell.
Right.
So, excuse me. So, yeah, but still, number 10, I honestly thought it would be higher up that list. Do you have a 3DS, correct, Brian?
I do.
So I'm assuming you picked up the 3DS version and all of its DLC?
I haven't picked up any of the DLC yet, actually.
No Ryu?
Nope, not yet. I haven't picked it up yet.
It's pretty fun. Ryu's definitely one of the more unique characters. Because you do not need to use the B button to perform his B button attacks.
Yeah, especially if the DLC is of the cost money variety.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, I got Mewtwo for free because I own both the 3DS and the Wii U version.
Right, I knew that.
So, I was fortunate enough to get that for free, but I ended up paying... it wasn't much. I think it was less than $15 for the three? For all three characters plus the stages?
So, and once I'm employed again, I can think about buying paid DLC, but in the meantime, free's good. I like free.
Yeah.
So
Free is good.
So that's number 10. Number 9 is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
And considering that game has not been out for very long, that's impressive. I could never get into the Witcher series myself because I've heard that the very first one was not the best in the world. And knowing myself, I would start from the beginning of the series, so I'm a little hesitant, but I keep hearing good things about Witcher.
Number 8, NBA 2K15.
Okay, that's surprising. Moving on.
Number 7, Dying Light.
Now that one I don't know.
Neither do I, actually.
Huh.
Neither do I. So that's number 7 on the list. Number 6, Batman Arkham Knight.
Are we counting the PC version or no?
Let me see.
Yeah, because remember, it was out for a little bit and then got pulled because, holy crap, bugs. Because apparently game developers still haven't learned you cannot ship out incomplete products.
You'd think that. I think they're counting, it's just sales figures compiled by the NPD group, so I think PC is also included in it.
Yeah, so your figure some of that is people still can't play it. They own it, they just haven't touched it yet.
The data also does not include hard figures for digital sales directly from the Xbox One and the PS4.
Does not figure digital sales.
Yeah.
Interesting. So these are just hard copies, and then what's like Steam sales for PC?
Probably.
More than likely. They do track Steam. I do believe tracks those numbers.
Oh,
so.
Absolutely. Number 5, Minecraft.
That shouldn't surprise me as much as it does, because I mean, Minecraft is relatively speaking in terms of a gaming lifespan. Minecraft is old.
Yes, but it's still selling.
It's still selling because it's fine. It's hitting all these other platforms. I mean, I own the PC version that's constantly gets updates every single week. But now that we're getting PS4 versions, we're getting Xbox One versions. Not to mention we had PS3, Xbox 360. Now there's a mobile version. I think there's now going to be an iPad version. It just keeps being re-released over and over again that they get the next generation. So,
and they're doing it well, so...
well, is there a PS4 version of Minecraft? I know it got bought out by Microsoft, but...
let's take a look to see what all consoles it's available for.
I'm sure this list is stupid.
Okay, I'll just give you the short version. It's out on... It's out on everything except Nintendo consoles.
Okay, yeah, so about what I expected.
It's out on everything except for Nintendo. Anything.
Yep, okay. That's pretty much what I thought. Okay, moving on.
Number 4, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
Again, no surprise there.
Number 3 is Battlefield Hardline.
Again, no surprise.
Number 2 is Grand Theft Auto 5.
Now that the PC version is out, now that the definitive version of GTA is out in the market and everyone gets their modded tools, I'm honestly not surprised. I think GTA 5 even got a console bundle with some of the Xbox One and PS4, so I'm sure that buffers the sales somewhat.
Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. But number 1, it surprises me. I'm actually very happy it's number one. I want this game very badly, but I don't have the $60 for it, and that is Mortal Kombat 10.
Yeah, that a lot of these titles, once you hear the name, it's like, oh yeah, because everyone bought into it. Especially with the commercial success that Mortal Kombat 9 was.
Yes, Mortal
and then
Kombat.
10 took everything that we liked about 9, added more without taking the core away, and then you got the things like Evo and the various tournaments that are going on, coupled with some pretty good online capabilities that Microsoft and Sony continue to improve on. Really, it should be the number one game that people fall in love with.
Mortal Kombat X, I've seen gameplay of it, and I'm just like,
gratuitous violence does not even begin to describe the nature of this game.
Well, that's been the hallmark of the series, though. I mean, let's not bullshit ourselves. Mortal Kombat is known for its over the top.
No, the thing with Mortal Kombat 10, the way, from my perspective, is it outdoes, Mortal Kombat set the benchmark for, gratuitous violence. Mortal Kombat 10 took that rocking chair, chopped it down with a wood axe, and burned it.
So, I really do want this game, but again, unemployed college graduate here, I don't have... If I'm going to spend $60 on a game, there's two things that need to happen. First, I need $60. That's the thing. And if I have the $60, I am so selective about what AAA games I purchase now because of that. It's if I'm going to spend $60 for a shiny piece of plastic,
I mean, Mortal Kombat 10 is, I think, one of the many games, and I think there's enough reasons for me now to go get a PlayStation 4, because we talked about this before in the past about timed exclusives, but there are very few true exclusives outside of Nintendo. But Sony is finally getting enough of its own console exclusive stuff that I can't even get on PC, that makes me just go, all right, you have convinced me to go get your system. Between Destiny, which you can get on the Xbox One, but point is, I can't play it on PC. Bloodborne, Mortal Kombat is something I need a controller in my hands. I am not playing that on a keyboard. What are some other ones? Dragon Quest is now doing some sort of Minecraft knockoff that looks actually really fun. And The Last of Us, along with Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, that I really do need to play. I mean, it's finally getting to the point that I just go, yeah, that I need to go get that system. And Mortal Kombat will probably be one of the first games I'll end up picking up for it, because it seems to be, so far in this year, the definitive AAA title.
I mean, there's now enough of a library for me to want to get a PS4 anyway. But yeah, I mean, these are the top 10 selling games so far. I mean, we'll see how the numbers change.
We'll have next year. Well, for the back half of this, 2015 year, we'll have the Black Ops 3, which we know will, they got their frat boy audience, and it will continue to be a very high selling game. What else is coming out this year? Help me out on this one. What are the big hitters that are coming out for their respective systems that are just making us go, yes, we need that?
Well, I know that I'm taking a brief look at some of the planned games for the holiday. Halo 5 Guardians, you've got Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Fallout 4.
Fallout 4 is this year?
Yep. Star Wars Battlefront, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Rise of the Tomb Raider, even Guitar Hero Live and Rock Band 4 are.
I don't know. Do you think those really count as major? I mean, I know it's going to be a bit of a renaissance in terms of Guitar Hero and Rock Band, but I don't know if they will really sell. But we'll wait and see.
Well, yeah, we'll wait and see. So.
Oh, wait, we're getting another Dragon Ball Z game?
I don't know.
Haven't we done that to death at this point with the Budokais?
Well, I mean, if the animated series is any indication,
I suppose
10 episodes to get a move in, but so yeah, that's your top 10 so far of the top selling games of the year, and here we are in July.
Oh, I bet you Super Mario Maker, Mighty Number 9 will probably make a dent in there somewhere.
We'll see how it is. We'll see if numbers come out by the time the end of the year comes around. We'll see what happens there. But do you have anything else you would like to add, or are we good?
No, I think we hit some pretty good topics today. I'm very satisfied with myself.
Well, good, and thank you for your contributions. And so, if anyone out there on the wide world of the internet has any comments, questions, thoughts on this episode or any other episode of downloadable content, remember, you can get in touch with us at facebook.com/dlcontent, on Tumblr, dlcpodcast.tumblr.com, at Twitter at dlcontent. You can email us dlcontent1@gmail.com, and as always, every single episode, yes, all 5 years of us, can be found on iTunes, YouTube, and Stitcher. So that does it for us. We're going to have one more free play episode this year, so if any fans out there have any topics they want to throw at us, get our thoughts on, or even be in an episode, all the information regarding recording days and times are on the Facebook page. I do post them periodically, and if anybody wants in on any episode, just say so, and we'll get you in. So, that'll do it for us, so all that remains for me to do is to thank Nick, and once again, I'm Brian. Have a good one, everybody.